your ruler. Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me.
What's up, guys? So last night, I think it was last night, I finally got around to watching The Matrix Resurrections. And yeah, I know I'm like 10 months late or whatever, however many months it's been since now. I know I'm late. The thing is, though, I heard bad things. Well, I thought bad things when I first saw the trailers, and I heard bad things when it came out. So I just avoided it. I just procrastinated it and put it on my watch list and said, "Oh, I'll get to it eventually." And now I did. Almost a year later, or 6 months to 10 months. But anyways, and I'm pretty good at going spoiler free with movies, so I had no spoilers. I had no spoilers aside from the stuff in the trailers. I had no spoilers. In my starting early on in the movie, I was like, man, this is pretty good. Like, this is really nostalgic. I like what they're doing with this. I was thinking in my head, like, what the heck were the people talking about? Why are people being so critical and criticizing this? This is pretty good. Like, I can't really think of anything other that they could have done with it. Like, as far as the continuation of the story, this is like the best you could ask for. I was thinking in my head, like, this is kind of like the best you could ask for as far as like a continuation of the story. The only other thing I could think of that they could do is either reboot the franchise completely, and start the premise over again with a new actor playing the one and blah blah blah, or B, or should I say C, have them do the next cycle. Like, you know how in Matrix Reloaded, when Neo was talking to the architect, he learned that over hundreds of years, I don't know how many they don't even know how old they are. Like, they don't even really know the exact year. For all we know, it could be like thousands of years. But you see on the screens behind him in the scene, you see all these dozens of other Neos, and that's because every so many years he is born and he goes through the cycle of becoming the one and then dying and blah blah blah. So there's like a whole cycle. So that could have been what they could have done, a new cycle of Neo. The problem with that is they would either had to have cast someone else as the one and just say he looks different, like they did with Morpheus. Well, they had a good excuse for that because it was a computer program version of Morpheus. It wasn't the real Morpheus, so they had a good excuse for that. They would have had to cast someone new and like explained why he looks different, or they would have had to use like that Tron Legacy de-aging technology where the whole entire movie, which would have probably not looked great. It would have been Uncanny Valley. But anyways, I mean, maybe they're to the point where they could de-age him the entire movie and it wouldn't look bad, but I don't know. Speaking of, Morpheus is one of those things that I thought I wouldn't like from the trailer. I was like, oh, they made a new Morpheus, but they explained it in a way in the movie that I didn't mind it because it wasn't the real Morpheus. It was just a program version. So anyways, I was enjoying the movie. I was thinking in my head, man, this movie's really cool. And then once they woke out of the Matrix, once he woke up out of the Matrix, and we saw the old version of his plug self, like no beard, no long hair, his plug self, I was like, man, they did a really good job. I was like, this is really good. I was like thinking in my head, all these criticisms that people said, this is pretty good. This is a decent movie. Like, it's not great, but I don't hate it, right? I'm like, they did a really good job with the ships and the new Zion place and blah blah blah. Everything is going great. Everything's cool. And then all of a sudden, I noticed a drop in quality of the movie once they leave Zion and go back into the Matrix as the first time where he's coming back and doing Battle of the One as the One. And that would be the scene where they encounter the old people that Neo encountered, I think his name is the Merovingian from Reloaded and Revolutions, and his minions from Reloaded, the Merovingian and his minions. As soon as they started doing battle with those people, I noticed like a dramatic drop in the writing quality. Like there was just random one-liners that didn't fit. The pacing was weird. And then they tried to do some nostalgia with the original Agent Smith fight where he's fighting Agent Smith, and it was good. It was nostalgic, but like I said, in the pacing for that was fine, but they did weird dialogue, like they were trying to, like, I don't know, man. There's just something off. There's just something that felt off about it. Didn't hate it though. I still enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. So anyways, the rest of the movie goes on, and pretty much my only complaint for the rest of the movie was there wasn't a lot of like the One. There wasn't really any the One like feats or powers. Like he would do a lot of cool stuff in the original movies. Like he would just do a lot of cool stuff being the One. Just like he always surprise you with some cool feat, right? Feet, F-E-A-T, not F-E-E-T, not feet, F-E-A-T. Anyways, but they just kept doing the same thing over and over. Like he kept just using his hands to do telekinetic blasts, and that was pretty much all he did. The entire rest of the movie, was, oh, let me do another telekinetic blast thingy. Oh, let me do another telekinetic blast thingy. And I did, and even though it was like kind of like lame. And another thing that I thought was really lame was that they didn't bring back Hugo Weaving. I thought that sucked. I feel like, I know they can't like pay everyone, and they can't, like, I don't know, maybe they couldn't get him or whatever, but even if they couldn't get him, the whole workaround where they had the people download without changing their appearance, I thought that was lame. It just sucked. There was just something about it having, oh, you got a whole mass of people chasing you, and they're agents on the inside, but on the outside they just look like regular people. Well, it made it lamer, like having a bunch of regular people running at them. It would have been cooler if they looked like agents. But that's just my opinion. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. The movie continues on, and it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. Like, this is the point where his powers come back, and overall, this, you know, this is gonna be the climax. This is where his powers come back. This is gonna be cool, and I'll be able to finish this and say, hey, this was a decent movie. I don't know what everyone was complaining about, right? I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't like beyond terrible or anything. And then all of a sudden they just had to do it. They just had to do it. Like the whole, like right when I said that in my head, I was smacked in the face and felt like an idiot. And there it is. They just had to do it right in that moment where I'm thinking, okay, Neo's gonna fly, get his flying back now. Guess who flies instead? Guess who flies instead? And listen, the other stuff earlier in the movie, I didn't like take offense to that because I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense that Neo would put out more power when he's with the chick that he loves. That's not crazy. Like, it's just a thing of they're in contact with each other, so they increase the power output of the people plugged in. Okay, whatever. Like, I didn't have to, I didn't make a thing of it. I get how you could make a thing of it and see it coming, but I just gave them the benefit of the doubt, right? But this made no sense at all, because it's called the one for a reason, not the two, right? Not the one, not the two, right? Oh, guess who all of a sudden has all of Neo's original trilogy, the one powers? Trinity. Hey, guess who's saving the day and flying? Trinity. Right in the final moment where you're like, okay, I'm giving this movie the benefit of the doubt. All this build up, and you just slap me in the face. It's like in that moment, I'm like, in that moment, I said, even if I wasn't like super aware of all this woke agenda pushing propaganda stuff, even if I was just a regular person, I feel like in this moment I'd feel like, you guys think I'm stupid? Do you guys think I'm stupid and not seeing what you're trying to do here? Anyways, that's how it felt. Like, I felt like even if I wasn't, because this is how I felt kind of too. Like, I felt like, let me just take a break from all the being frustrated about like woke agendas and propaganda and all the stuff they're trying to force on us nowadays. Let me take a break from that, give this movie the benefit of the doubt, and actually enjoy it, even though it's not going to be like great, but it'll be fun. And it was fun, right? It wasn't great, but I was relaxed enough to be like, okay, this is all right, you know, and then I'm enjoying this. And then bam, I felt stupid for letting my guard down. I felt really stupid for letting my guard down. It's right in that moment, Trinity's flying and holding him up, and I'm like, what the fuck? You're not even, this makes no sense. She's not the one, he's the one, right? It's not the two, and he still doesn't have his powers back yet, right? He still doesn't have, so I'm figuring they're gonna give us some sort of explanation or something. No explanation. The very next scene is her flying and using like one of his original crazy powers where like she blows a hole in the building or something. And then he just kind of walks in the room, and then they confront the bad guy, and then at the end of the movie, now Neo has his powers back. They didn't show like when his powers came back, but now Neo has his powers back, and they both have his powers, and they both fly away together with no explanation. or she's also the one now, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You, like, honestly, I'm like, What do you want to are you purposely self-sabotaging? Because you guys just had a pretty decent, like, if you guys were planning on bringing back this franchise and having another trilogy or something, you could have, that it almost was a decent setup for another trilogy. Have Neo's powers come back, he flies away, saves Trinity right at the end, then you guys confront the bad guy and he's the one again, right? But now you got the two with no explanation, and this is a complete slap in the face for woman power, and like how, like, it's not thought out. It's not even about being anti-woman power, because it's not even really that. It's just like, it's forced. It's forced and it's dumb. Like, you take away the coolness of being the one when it's just, when it's not important, and it can just be given away and transferred with no explanation. Anyways, yeah, but I felt tricked. I felt tricked because I was like, I don't know. Anyways, they could have made another franchise, but now I see why everyone was complaining and saying it wasn't that good, and now I don't know where they go with it. And they gotta stop forcing stuff in. They gotta stop forcing stuff that doesn't belong there and screwing stuff up. It's bad writing. And then there was like a post-credit scene that kind of like, they almost like self-acknowledged that they're bad writers. It was two writers making like cat meme jokes or something. Anyways, I don't know, man. It sucked. It sucked because I was willing to forgive all the telekinetic lack of. It was a mediocre film up until the end, and I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, and then right at the end they slapped me in the face. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and please subscribe and like the channel if you don't mind. It really helps me out. And also, go follow me on Twitch. I need more followers on my Twitch. So, alright, peace out, guys.